Selectmen's meeting for Tuesday, July 19, 2016. We stand now for a Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Right to public announcements. There are vacancies on the Cultural Council, Council for Elder Affairs Alternate, Energy Committee, and the Historical Commission. Applications for appointments are available online at www.hanson-ma.gov or in the Selectman's office. Town Clerk's office will be closed at 11:30 a.m. on Friday, July 22nd. Please plan your business accordingly. Town Clerk would like to remind dog owners that the license period starts on July 1st. All dogs over 6 months must be licensed by September 30th. License fees $15 for male and female, $10 for spayed and neutered dogs. Applicant must provide proof of spaying, neutering, and an up-to-date rabies certificate. Residents who use the transfer station must obtain a new sticker by July 1st. Stickers are available in the Board of Health office. Vehicle registration and enrollment forms will be required in order to receive the new stickers. Enrollment forms are available online at www.hanson-ma.gov. The Water Department also reminds residents that there is a total water ban in effect. Outside watering is prohibited. Do It for Sam 5K Charity Walk will take place on Sunday, July 31st. Check-in begins at 8:30 a.m. at Botari Field. Registration can be completed at pound Do It for Sam or by calling Meredith Ballerigan at 781-635-8458. Upcoming meetings. The final Plymouth County Hospital Reuse Committee meets on Wednesday, July 20th at 4 p.m. at the police station. Selectmen have a meeting on Tuesday, July 26th at 7 p.m. The final Plymouth County Hospital Reuse Committee meets again on Wednesday, July 27th, 4 p.m. at the police station. And Selectmen will meet August 9th at 7 p.m.
Nice. Very nice.
Okay, and that brings us to item 2 on our agenda, the Town Administrator's Report. Take it away, Mr. McHugh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually have this evening some kind of interesting and nice things to present to the board, very positive things. I first wanted to start with the fact that in past communities, I was aware of the previous tradition of passing on what is known as the Boston Post cane. As a selectman, we were fortunate enough to still have ours in Mansfield. However, when I got to the town of Avon, the Board of Selectmen was interested in trying to revive the tradition, but their cane over the course of several years, several decades, went missing. We were able to reach out to Northeastern Savings Bank, who had started a program in which they were replacing Boston Post canes that had gone missing to towns as a public service. We were successful, obviously, in Avon in getting a new one, complete with the engraving. If you looked at the two, an original compared to the replica, you wouldn't know the difference whatsoever.
Mike, just 2 sentences for
Certainly.
our public out there. Could you explain what that is?
Oh,
I'm
the
not sure
Boston.
everybody
Oh,
understands.
I'm sorry. Sometimes I make those
That's okay, no problem.
assumptions. The Boston Post cane, around the turn of the 20th century, in the 1900s, was, in all honesty, a sort of an advertising campaign by the old Boston Post newspaper, in which they made canes for not only every community in Massachusetts, but if I'm not mistaken, they made them for the communities in New Hampshire and I think Vermont. They were canes of about, I'd say, 2 foot in height. They were made out of an ebony wood that was imported from Africa. It had a gold top to it, as well as a gold bottom, and on the top was engraved, basically, the words, it said, "To be transcribed to the oldest resident of the town," and then the town's name would be emblazoned on it, and it said Boston Post cane. And again, that was around 1903, 1905 or so that started. And again, the tradition is to give that cane to the oldest resident of that particular community. And that's usually achieved by going through the town census and whatnot. So again, what had happened in the town of Avon is theirs went missing, but they were very interested in seeing whether or not we could revive the tradition. And again, I found a program with Northeastern Savings Bank in which they presented us one, and we gave it out and went through the process. Within the last week or so, I looked back into that for the town of Hanson, as the town of Hanson does not have its cane. I have received confirmation from Northeastern Savings Bank over the course of the last couple of days. They were more than happy to provide such to us. It will take probably a week or so, or maybe a little longer. They have a few in stock. It obviously needs to be engraved with the name of our town. But in addition, we need to go through the process of finding who the oldest resident of the town of Hanson is. And without getting into particular names, the town clerk has identified somebody. I don't want to give that name because I have run into the past, some people aren't interested in the attention. So I will reach out to the person that the town clerk has said is the next person in line and ask whether or not this individual or this individual's family want to go through that honor. But I am hopeful that within the next few weeks or so, we may be able to put together an event at which the Board of Selectmen will be able to convey that very significant piece of, well, we're starting new history at this point, but a stretch back to the old history of Hanson to give it to the oldest resident in town. So I'm looking forward to that. It's something I really enjoy. I think it's something that's a very nice, positive thing that we're able to do. And hopefully this particular cane doesn't go missing. It will really be up to the Board of Selectmen, I feel, as to whether or not they wish to allow the individual to take the cane home with them, or whether we leave it here in a display. I've seen it done both ways. I feel that probably, and obviously you gentlemen have a better feel for this than I do, I feel that this is a small enough town that we'll be able to keep tabs on where it is and where it should be going in the future. So, but again, I'll leave that up to the board. So I thought that was a very nice thing to talk about. So the other really nice thing that I'd like to talk about very briefly is, and I think I indicated to the Board of Selectmen at some point in my interview process when I was fortunate enough to get this position, that I have an affinity for trees. And that in my previous positions in other communities, one of my pet projects was to get towns named as Tree City USAs. And you've seen the signs, I'm sure, going in and out of the communities. I was successful in doing that in the town of Avon and the town that I just left, Rochester. And my overall plan is to put the town of Hanson in a position where we can also be declared a Tree City. The bar isn't that high for us to do it. That being said, in my last year in Avon, when I was looking for a project, a particular species of tree to put in for our next Arbor Day, I came across the ginkgo. And most people think of ginkgo and think of the supplements that you take for memory or whatever it's for. I came to find out that a ginkgo tree is extremely hardy, that it can stand pollution and street salt and things of that nature. And in this country, it's being introduced more and more in streetscaping. I further looked into it and found out that, oddly enough, a ginkgo survived the bombing of Hiroshima in 1945. I further looked into that and found that there is a United Nations related or sponsored organization called Green Legacy Hiroshima that annually collects seeds from not only this particular ginkgo tree, but other trees that survived that bombing. And they either raise them and They put them, send them around the world as saplings for planting in different communities, generally embassies and, capitals and places of higher learning. I was actually successful in obtaining 12 saplings when I was still in Avon, and developed a relationship, much to my surprise, and have maintained that relationship with this organization. Unfortunately, the saplings that I have control over, which are all still being cared for at the Arnold Arboretum in Boston, I've committed all of those. I got a hold of the organization about 6 months or so ago to ask whether or not we could have another shipment of saplings sent over. And the restrictions for those sorts of shipments, the horticultural and import sort of laws have been tightened up quite a great deal.
Customs.
However, I was able to get a shipment of the seeds that are collected not only from this particular ginkgo, but a couple other varieties, a holly, a camphor, a jujube, and a hackberry. All of which are descendants, so to speak, of trees that survived the bombing. I have reached out to the superintendent of schools at Whitman Hanson, and I am working on, and they have agreed, and actually Bob is fully aware of this. Bob and I actually spoke about this just last week.
Yes.
We are working on setting up a program at either the middle schools or at the high school in a science class to have the students raise some of the seeds that I was able to obtain. And throughout the years, and the idea, I think, is to have a 7th or 8th grade class do this, so that as they matriculate through the high school, they're able to tend to and watch these particular plants grow, because they're not hardy enough to just, stick in the ground after a year or so. So the idea is that when they're getting ready to graduate, these seniors will be able to take these plants, which should be very valuable at that point, and plant them on the campus, and have a rather significant and historical addition to that school. So I'm happy to report that, again, I've received the seeds. They went to the Arboretum. They had to go through some sort of clearance with the government to make sure that they weren't going to bring in some sort of diseases or whatnot. I gained possession of these seeds Friday afternoon. They're actually in my refrigerator at home. So I'm hopeful that at the beginning of the school year, we can have a little event, and we can give the seeds over to the school, to a science teacher or whatnot, and they can grow these seeds and add something to, I think, of significance to the community. So again, it's just one of my pet projects that I'm very happy that I was able to, in some form, bring to the town of Hanson. Also, it is my intention, not my intention, I've already done it, the town of Hanson is eligible to participate in what's called the Small Town Administrators Group, which is basically open to any town that is 11,000 residents or younger, or lower. And I have reached out to them, and I'm going to try to put together one of their annual meetings here in the town of Hanson. Generally, these meetings take place in the central part and the western part of the state, because that's where you find the smaller communities. So I'm trying to bring a little something to the town that perhaps some of the communities that are of a smaller population can participate in. So my anticipation, if they agree to it, is to have something like that in the spring, and I certainly would hope if some of the members of the Board of Selectmen were available that they could attend that as well.
What do they talk about, Mike, when they get together? I mean, they must have similar issues, maybe?
Yes, very similar issues. That, the whole idea, Mr. Chairman, is that we're not comparable to a Mansfield or a Framingham or towns of larger population. Just to share different problems, different approaches to things to communities that are 11,000 and lower. So I look forward to that as well. I have had a conversation with our state representative, State Representative Cutler. He is interested in meeting with the Board of Selectmen, and we've tentatively put that on for the meeting of the 9th of August, just to give the board an update, not only with where the budget stands, because he believes within the next week or so, any vetoes, or I should say, overturning of vetoes will have taken place, so he can give a broad brush as to not only where the budget stands, but anything else of significance that he wishes to bring before the legislature, or answer any questions that the board may have. So, again, we're looking at doing that on the 9th of August. On the 1st of August, and this is also through Josh Cutler's office, we will be having a meeting, myself and the town managers from Pembroke and Duxbury. It will be here in Hanson. He is bringing in a representative from Senator Warren's office to have a discussion about any grants that may be available on the federal level. And I personally am very interested in any economic development sorts of grants that might be out there. I'm sure that I've mentioned the board on many occasions, my interest in trying to improve the area around the commuter rail station. I think that that's a very fertile area for economic development, and obviously the benefits to the town of Hanson are innumerable. So we will be having that meeting on August the 1st. I think that's probably enough for this evening.
And that's in the
Thank you,
afternoon?
Mr. Chairman.
August 1st in the afternoon, right?
Yes, I believe it's at 2 o'clock.
2
sir.
o'clock?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Mr. McHugh, if I can. All right, moving on to new business. We have on our agenda, vote McQuon School roof contract, and we have tonight with us Mr. Bob Hayes. Bob, come on.
Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for having me in this evening. As you know, we had a bid opening last Wednesday at 3 o'clock for the McQuon School roof. We had approximately 30 vendors come in and take out packets to bid the job. We had 9 bids come in. We had a successful bidder. The low bidder was Gibson Roof, which is right here in Hanover, Massachusetts. They've done a lot of work on our buildings, on roof repairs in the past, and they come with a good reputation. So the school committee invited everyone to come last Tuesday. We had the McQuon Indian Head McQuon Indian Head School Repair Committee. And Bedfield Selectmen, we needed a quorum of the selectmen to vote on this. I'll read to you what I have as a letter of intent to send to Gibson, and I also have a contract which I'll read to you, and I'd ask you to vote. As we've been doing in the last couple of projects, it's worked out very well. It's been very transparent to all the people. The selectmen have been on board, the repair committee's been on board, the school committee's been on board, and we're getting repairs that are needed done to the buildings and shoring them up and moving forward with all of the stuff that we have to do. So here's the notice of intent. Mr. Gibson Roofs, 369 Winter Street, Hanover. Roof replacement for McQuon School, Area A, 38 School Street, Hanson, Mass. Gale Project JN 831080. Dear Mr. Gibson, with regard to the above referenced project, Gale JN 831080, please be advised that it is the intent of the town of Hanson and the Whitman-Hanson Regional School District to award your firm, Gibson Roofing, Inc., the contract for the roof replacement area at McQuon Elementary School. The total contract award shall be for an amount not to exceed $207,000. As you know, I'm just stopping in the middle here for a moment. Town meeting approves $322,000, so we're coming in approximately with Gale's fee somewhere around $100,000 under what was set out to do. So that's wonderful. The town's going to get hopefully save $100,000. Under separate cover, we will forward 5 copies of the contract documents for your review, execution, and signature. Contracts must be executed within 10 working days from the receipt of the contract. The executed contract must include all required insurance certificates. Once returned to us and executed on behalf of the town of Hanson, the Whitman-Hanson Regional School District, a fully executed contract will be sent to you for your permanent records. Time is an essential condition of the contract. Gibson shall commence work forthwith upon full execution of the contract, shall have substantial completion of the project by August 19, 2016, and final completion by August 26, 2016. Thank you for your cooperation. The town of Hanson and the Whitman-Hanson Regional School District look forward to working with your firm on the roof project. Should any questions arise, please feel free to contact us at 781-618-7417. Very truly yours, Robert Hayes, Chairman of the School Committee, James McGann, Chairman of the Board of Selectmen, Town of Hanson. Now, I have five copies of the contract. It's pretty easy, I have to have them all signed, so everybody can get one. I'll read it. Roof Area A, roof replacement associated work at McCoy Elementary School, Hanson, Massachusetts. This contract made the 13th day of July 2016 by, in between Whitman Hanson Regional School District and the Town of Hanson, named as owner. Acting herein through its representatives, Robert Hayes and James McGann, authorized representatives. And herein called afterwards Gibson Roof 3, Inc., doing business as an individual partnership corporation located in the town of Hanover, County of Plymouth, State of Massachusetts, hereinafter called the contractor. Witness that foreign consideration of the payments and agreements herein mentioned to be made and performed by the owner of the contract hereby agrees with the owner to commence and complete the construction described as follows. Roof Area A, roof replacement associated work at the McCoy Elementary School in Hanson, Massachusetts. Hereafter called the project for the sum of $207,000. The contract hereby agrees to commence work under this contract within 10 days of this date, unless otherwise directed in writing by the owner to fully complete the project by August 26, 2016. The owner agrees to pay the contractor in current funds for the performance of the contract, subject to additions and deductions as provided in the general conditions of the contract, and to make payments in account thereof as provided in Article 9, payment completion of the general contract and conditions. And it lists out some of the items. Metal roof deck repair, 300 square feet, unit per square feet, $5, $1,500. Metal roof decking, 72 square feet, $20 per unit, $1,440. Metal roof deck re-securement, 250 square feet, $5 per unit, $1,250. Replacement of deteriorated wood, which is blocking, 100 square board feet, $10 per square, $1,000. Replacement of deteriorated soft wood framing, 100 board feet, $10 per unit, $1,000. Remove and replace wet insulation, include replacing the existing EPDM roof membrane on adjacent roof areas, 100 square feet, $20 per square, $2,000. And witness, the party shall have these presents executed this contract in 6 counterparts. Each will be deemed an original in the year and day mentioned above, and that's what we have to sign. We had the full bid, as you know, when we sent it out, which is a document that is like this. This is just overstating the whole contract. But the total of the contract, again, is $207,000, which is good.
Is it just one signature you look for, or all signatures from the selectmen?
Just, you have to sign 5 copies, I have to sign 5
Gotcha.
copies, they'll execute them, stamp them at the school.
Yep.
And everybody's gonna get one, and Mike will probably get one to put on file here.
Please, yeah.
I'd like to entertain a motion to allow the chairman of the board, Hanson, to sign the contract for the McCoy School roof repair as read by Mr. Bob Hayes.
Second.
So moved and seconded, and they couldn't do it fast enough.
Simultaneous motions and seconds.
I only have one question.
Open for discussion, Mr.
Just
Mitchell.
one quick question. Mr. Hayes, when does school start?
School starts a few days after that, I believe it's the 28th.
Okay.
We had a completion date a couple days before. This is a much different project than the Indian Head roof
This
project.
sounds like it's gonna be faster because of the money.
It's-
Just 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's more of a
Okay.
metal roof, it's a strip and replace, it's a more of a, it's a much different project than the enormity of replacing the Indian Head roof on both of those sections. It's a completely different project.
Right, okay, that's what I was getting at, thank you.
I don't foresee it even taking the length of what it's done. That's why we were trying to get the bids. If you know, I know that I had been coming and reporting to the Board of Selectmen. We were in, let's get it rocking before
Done with
school
some,
starts.
yeah.
And that's why we had that special meeting,
Right.
so we could try and get this thing done before school starts.
Good, excellent, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Young.
I'd like to note, I had a little talk with our town accountant today regarding, the savings on this roof. And between this roof project and the savings there, taking into account what we
appropriated at town meeting through 322.
Mhm.
Obviously, if this is done with 207 without any extras, knock on wood.
Well, that
Uh,
doesn't include Gail's fee, so, but that's approximate, so.
Oh,
Yeah, the Gale fee, I think there's a small,
was that about 9 or 10 grand?
I think it may even be less, Bruce.
Yeah, so, yeah, right, it'll be about
Because
100,000.
We had
Right.
we had
Yeah.
an engineer
Right.
the other
So
part,
you've got a $100,000 savings there.
Right.
And plus the money that we saved on the low bids for the Indian Head roof, as well as the lentils.
Mhm.
Between the two of those, we've got about $176,000 that can be used on other capital projects next year that we
That's-
didn't anticipate.
That's terrific.
The 276,000.
I think it's important to note, I want to make sure to make Mr. Hayes pass on our sincere thanks to everyone involved, the school committee, Ernie certainly, everybody involved in getting this done and getting this done this summer. I think there was a good chance that it didn't look like it was going to happen that way, but if I'm not mistaken, a number of people stepped up and made sure that it got done.
Well, thank you, Jim, because a lot of people did too, but it's been the workings of the Board of Selectmen, the Indian Head and McQuon Repair Committee, and the school committee, working jointly together that has made these projects go. I mean, Bruce and I chaired the last one, and we are meeting every Tuesday with the Indian Head roof.
Yep.
And as the project went on, we had quite a few meetings. We don't anticipate anything like that. We're gonna meet the start date, halfway through, and the end. That might be a 2-week period.
Right.
So we anticipate it to be a lot quicker, but it has been wonderful that everybody's got together, worked in unity, got these school buildings repaired, and come in, as Mr. Young said, about $175,000 under budget. Pretty much doesn't get any better than that.
Right.
So thank you too.
Yep. Any further discussion? All right, I'd like to call to vote. All those in favor of allowing the chairman of the board to sign for the McQuon Roof School repair? Aye, 5-0, Mary.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for all your efforts there. Thank you.
I believe, Jim, it's gonna be right there.
Right down here.
And I will, as soon as I get this document executed, I'll make sure that Mr. McHugh gets your copy also.
Excellent. One more?
And then the cover letter.
Gotcha. Great work. This is good.
This is awesome.
It's 2 roofs in 2 years, right?
Exactly.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you. And I will be back to report to you how
Thank
the
you very
progress
much.
is going, if it happens.
I'm
If it
grateful.
happens in the middle, or if it happens quicker.
Yep,
I'll
Mr.
let you
Hayes.
know, and I'll keep you abreast of any other school repairs. Right now, as of today, I was up there and they're replacing a bunch of the walkway that heaved during the winter, but we're using town equipment. Both of the towns have been cooperating, we're saving quite a bit of money doing it that way.
Excellent.
If you come out and look at the buildings right now, they're in a deep cleaning cycle. The deep cleaning means the desks are tipped up, the rooms are empty, it gets that,
Wash all the markers out and all
yeah,
that stuff.
gum on the bottom of the desk,
Exactly,
you
yeah.
name it, So all of that's being done. I don't anticipate any holdups for school opening. I personally fixed the McQuon side, thanks to the Hanson PTO bought all the materials, and I went up and put it in the sign, so the McQuon sign, the Indian Head sign
Yeah,
is going to be back available. One side is for Indian Head, one side is for McQuon on the PTO, so all those inserts are put in. I went up last night and did that. Everything's going along as planned for what happens in the summer, because believe it or not, it's about 6.5 weeks and they're back in school. And I'm not hurrying along, but it's sooner than you think.
Yeah.
A lot of kids don't want to hear that, but that's fine. I hear you.
It's all part of it, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So it was a good winter, and we didn't get pushed forward and everything. So I'll keep you abreast. I'll keep coming to the meetings and letting you know what's going on within the district, with the buildings, and I'll try to keep you abreast of what's going on. As you probably all know, the governor hasn't vetoed anything, and we're gonna be getting a little bit more in the per pupil cost versus the $25. And that all started at Whitman Hanson at a school committee meeting.
Right.
Our state senator, Mr. Brady, and our two reps, Cutler and Deal, proposed it forward, and it got momentum after we asked them
A lot of
to come to the
signatures,
meeting, and we
yeah.
proposed it to them, and they proposed it, and a ton of their counterparts signed it.
Yep.
And it took the amount from $20 per student to $55 per student, which was a $137,000 increase for the budget, which is very tight. So that helped that, but that very thing helped the whole state, because it happened here in Whitman Hanson. So it shows you how a small group of people working together can make progress. A lot of people think they don't hear you on Capitol Hill. They hear you. You just have to move forward. So again, I want to thank everybody here.
Thanks.
I thank you for I will make sure that we get the students and we'll get this all together. We have a little ceremony. It's fabulous. They get
Good
5 years
stuff.
to do the trees.
Thanks, Bob.
Plant them. I think
Yeah.
that's great. So thank you all.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Bob, for all your efforts. Thank you.
The roof fixed. Yeah, that's terrific. All right.
No more leaky Jim.
No more leaky Jim, right. All right. Next we have on our agenda under new business is declare police cruisers as surplus vehicles. I have a 2010 Dodge Charger, VIN number 2B as in boy, 3AA, 4, C as in Connecticut, T as in Thomas, 7, A as in Apple, H as in Harry, 248498. And the other one is also a 2010 Dodge Charger, VIN number 2, B as in Barry, 3, A as in Apple, Apple, 4, Connecticut, Thomas, 3, A, H, 302704.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Any discussion on these?
No.
No? All right, let's call to vote. All those in favor? Aye, 5-0, Mary.
We'll take a brief break for the,
You want to take a break before we go into executive session?
go into executive first, then take a break.
We want to go into executive session first, right? Okay, all right. We're moving to executive session now. I want to thank everybody for attending. And I need to read this, so it's to conduct strategy with respect.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize. If you would be so kind as just to read and make a motion to go into executive session for the deployment or strategy regarding security personnel devices. I have spoken with town council a day or so ago, and he has recommended that we save this particular
Item.
issue, yes, until his return, which is at the end of the week.
Okay, correction. We're going, entertain a motion to move to executive session to discuss the deployment of or strategy regarding security personnel or devices. And I would call, actually, we would be coming out of executive session to adjournment, and I would entertain the motion and do by roll call. Entertain the motion first, right? It has to be motioned and seconded.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
Howard?
I'm
Mr.
in
Young?
favor.
I'm in favor?
I'm in favor.
Yes.
Mr. Scott? All right. We are now in executive session. Why don't we take a brief recess?